Hi, welcome to my very first episode of my very first podcast. I'm extremely excited to do this podcast with you. It's been a few years coming. I'm going to be recording the podcast on anchor.fm/fairly often, so you can find the replays of the episode and the actual podcast section of the episode. The show is going to be broadcast live on video on YouTube, and currently for this very first episode I'm on Twitch because I did not enable my live stream. I was so excited today to do it on YouTube, and I just it takes 24 hours to stream live after you've enabled it, so starting tomorrow we will jump into that. And speaking about tomorrow, the general schedule of the show is going to be 4 p.m. Saturday through Wednesday, so 5 days a week. The first half hour of the show is going to be anecdotal stories and ways in which we got to a component of finding happiness. And the second half hour of the show is going to be educational and insightful, from whether that be articles, studies, anything that can actually really put some foundation to the things that we're feeling. And then the last half hour of the show is going to be engagement and interaction with you guys. So you can feel free to call in on Discord or join the Discord and be in the video lobby, the voice channel lobby, so that we can talk about it. I alluded to it a little bit in the schedule, but this podcast is generally going to be about happiness, because I feel like people have different parts of their life that they strive to achieve, and can find people who specifically have those type of insightful things, whether that be exercise or food or mental health. You can find specific people to talk about that specific component when you find something that is really beneficial for you, or something that you want to hone in on for yourself specifically. But I want to talk about the general state of happiness. So a few weeks ago I was on TikTok and watching through videos that come up on the For You page. And one of the videos that came up said you need 5 hobbies, 5 different hobbies. And this video got me thinking. And one of the hobbies that I've always been interested in is doing a podcast with you guys, but I never really could hone in on a topic that would be beneficial, or that I could really speak to from an expert standpoint. And I don't really know if anyone can be an expert on happiness. So really, this is our podcast together, because we're going to be learning from each other. You'll learn from me, I'll learn from you. And we'll get to a place of being comfortable to be on a journey for happiness. So Mark Manson, a really popular author, he has a YouTube channel where he goes into detail about his beliefs about happiness, and how a 100% happy and content being and creature is not the creature that survives. That's not the creature that carries on the state of evolution. That it takes a little bit of unhappiness, apparently, to be the best carrier on of human traits. And so he says that to pretend like you aren't, or to, I wrote it down. Happiness comes from solving problems. If you pretend you don't have problems in your life, you won't be happy. And if you think you have problems you can't solve, you won't be happy. So his general belief is that a little bit of unhappiness leads to problem solving, because if you're unhappy, that means that you have a problem, and being able to solve that problem makes people fulfilled and that sense of saying that you don't have any things that you need to solve to be fulfilled takes away a portion of happiness. And then also to say that you have too many problems that you're not able to solve also leads to unhappiness, because then things are too tremendous for you to mount, and that leads to a very miserable life. So in the search for happiness, the place that it is, everyone goes on their own journey to figure out things that they can add to their life, and a toolkit of problem solving techniques and a road to finding specific happiness. So this TikTok that I had saw about doing hobbies, I thought that was very poignant for me to find 5 hobbies that are on this list. So the 5 hobbies that they list that can help you lead a more fulfilled life is: 1 hobby to make money, 1 hobby to keep you in shape, 1 to keep you creative, 1 to build your knowledge, and 1 to evolve your mindset. So in these 5 hobbies, hopefully you can check off more boxes than 1 for each individual hobby. For me personally, I suggest that you find 5 hobbies and be able to hit these boxes more than 1 time. Like, maybe a hobby will help you make money and get you in shape. You know, maybe you can start a YouTube channel where you do workout videos and can make money off of that from sponsorships and from viewer ads. But I wouldn't suggest finding 1 hobby that fits all 5 of these. Give yourself more things to do, more fun, more space to evolve, more reasons to be happy and fulfilled in your life. So making money, in that, when I read these, the making money and getting in shape and being creative and growing your knowledge and mindset, I started to think about another time that I had heard about general happiness and growing your general happiness. And in combination with that and this TikTok video about getting hobbies, I decided to develop a 12-week program for you guys that we're going to do podcasts, 1 hour a day of content, and 5 days a week for 12 weeks. So that's going to be 60 episodes on specifically happiness. And because that can get a little bit redundant about, like, how do you talk about happiness every day? The other portion of this that I found that I have really overlooked in a journey for happiness, that this specific triangle that I have known about for years, from college and onward, from learning about mental health. This is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or Maslow's pyramid of needs, and it talks about how people can get to self-actualization. And funny enough, a lot of the things that are on this self-actualization pyramid fall into this TikTok video of hobbies. And I think that it's a common trend over and over again that these traits need fulfillment for people to lead a good life and existence. So in the Maslow's pyramid of needs, there are 5 sections, and we're gonna do 5 days a week, 1 hour a day. So each section on here we will cover for an hour out of a day of that week, and you will have 12 weeks and 12 different skills to hone in on one of these sections of the pyramid. In Maslow's hierarchy and pyramid of needs, they assert that the lower level of needs have to be fulfilled in order for people to achieve the higher level on the pyramid. Meaning, if you do not have these physiological needs or safety needs fulfilled, it's very hard for you to get your esteem or loving and belonging. And they also asserted at later in time, after this pyramid was developed in 1943, many years later, they came out and said that some things in the pyramid are not necessarily important to everyone at the same magnitude. So people can be fulfilled even if they don't have certain portions of these pyramids accomplished. So Maslow very famously noted Galileo, who was homeless and lived in poverty for most of his life, but was achieved in mindset and self-actualization through his knowledge. So it's not to say that you necessarily have to have all of these things in order to be fulfilled, but when this pyramid was developed, a portion of society pushed for the physiological needs and fulfillment of money and safety and security and the ability to provide for yourself over any type of mental fortitude. And the converse of that, the other side of society was pushing for religious purity and mental fulfillment more than any type of attachment to material goods. So when Maslow made this hierarchy or made this pyramid, he wanted to level the playing field and give the human a full accumulation of who they are and the things that they need. Because if the general person doesn't have the ability to pay their bills or feed themselves or provide security for themselves, it's going to be very hard for them to think about relationships or think about gaining knowledge. And so for those outliers, there is the possibility that you don't need to have specifically your safety and security met before you're seeking for intimacy. But for the purposes of this podcast and our interactions, I'm going to work through each segment on a different day so that each one gets their appropriate due and attention. So physiological needs like air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and reproduction, they included sex on that list because adult humans have a need for reproduction. So the very basic of physiological needs. Every Saturday, we're going to cover physiological needs, whether that be through gaining more money so that you can provide for yourself more, different ways for entrepreneurship, or adding in investments or any type of money related things. We're going to talk about housing security and ability for people to transition into different environments, jobs, all type of things that lead for people to um, have physiological needs met. We're going to talk about your food and the things that you're intaking and the way in which what you're eating is impacting um, your general health and your heart, and how that can possibly be impacting your body. There's so many things on the physiological scale that I feel like we can bring into it. I can find you experts and other YouTubers and other podcasts, professors and intellectuals that talk specifically about fulfilling physiological needs. If at any point one of those fails in your life, that you have a solid 12 steps of 12 different tools of fulfilling a physiological need. Also, in the journey for happiness and this pyramid specifically, they talk about how life is ever changing and your ability to achieve happiness will change at different portions in your life when different portions of this pyramid are impacted. So at some points in your time you may become housing insecure, and even if you are self-actualized, becoming unstably housed becomes an immediate need that you have to then address. So different portion, or if you go through different settings of romantic relationships, those all, whether you get into one or get out of one, you may need to have the skills to help yourself and or help others who you see are in that portion of the love and belonging of the pyramid. So after you have your physiological needs met, which is going to be every Saturday for 1 hour, I'm going to talk to you about a different physiological need. That I'm going to bring you in some expert advice, or hopefully have experts on the podcast that can talk to you about it, whether I read an article or they come here themselves. And then for the last half hour, we're going to open it up for questions and for comments, and for you to talk about maybe about a physiological need, a way to fulfill it that we talked about on that show that day. Maybe you have a question about that show that day. Anything, we'll open it up after that for talking about physiological needs on Saturday. So then on Sundays, we're going to talk about safety needs, because that's the next portion in the pyramid of needs, where you're talking about your personal security. So this is like safety of employment, resources, health, property, the ability to protect yourself. All of these, after you're able to feed yourself and clothe yourself, you start to worry about how to continue to clothe yourself, how to continue to provide a roof over your head and protect your roof from anyone else. You start to worry about your personal well-being and financial security, all different types of security of things. So on Sundays, we're going to reiterate how to meet those physiological needs, because the bottom of the triangle is needs that are going unmet, whereas the top of the pyramid is needs that you can go out and achieve. So on Monday is going to be love and belonging. So we're going to be talking about friendships, intimacy, family, and a sense of connection and community, and how for people to get interpersonal relationship skills, how to date, how to communicate with people about hard things in your life. We're going to talk about finding communities or ways in which you can go out and look for people, especially going through this recent pandemic where people are almost entirely isolated, how to find communities during portions of isolation, and when you're like majority in the house or far away from an environment that you feel like would be necessarily beneficial for you. So Intimate relationships are extremely important and are very much different than the reproduction or the sex portion of this. The physiological portion of this pyramid is known as like the immediate gratification. So if you're fed, you immediately are gratified. Whereas building an intimate relationship is a lot harder and takes a lot longer, and the gratification for it may be greater for a longer period of time. It's harder to get to, and it's not as immediate as maybe someone giving you a compliment or you sleeping. And the thing is, when that is going unmet, then the other ones are harder to get. But these ones, if you go without sleep, then it's going to be hard to have a romantic relationship. But from sleep, you get an immediate gratification, versus a romantic relationship is going to help you get to a state of self-actualization, even if it's not going to be with the immediate gratification. So the next portion on Tuesday is going to be esteem. And esteem is dealing with your sense of respect. So after you become a member in a community, or you get a relationship, or you have that sense of love and belonging, then you start to want to have respect from the people in your community, and a general sense of living with respect. So after we help people get to learning how to be a part of a community, learning how to find communities, then we're going to teach you how to accurately depict who you are in your community and grow that level of respect from your peers, and how this culture, other cultures, people throughout time have looked at and seen what respect is in their culture and community. Because what is true for us is not always true for everyone, and what is true for us now may have not been true for us before. So I feel like it's my duty to do my due diligence and give you guys a wide array of things that you can look at to see if you have any sense of like emulation of that, or that hits home for you more than anything else. Because I was reading something the other day about generosity and how certain communities view wealth, where in our community, wealth is a sign of hoarding, of having more. In other cultures and communities, wealth is a sign of wealth is giving away things, of being generous, of having very little. And I felt like that I could touch with more than the idea of having so much. Like, I would like to give away more than have. So that always touched home with me about the concept of what wealth would be, as well as like the idea of having relationships is wealth versus monetary accumulation. So just different things, because some things don't always feel true for me in this culture and in this time period. So hopefully I can bring some stuff to you that will help you feel like you have a better insight into the education behind happiness. So also under esteem is status, recognition, strength, and freedom. So we'll talk about all those things, how you can exercise an accurate representation of who you are in society, and have people accept you for that, so that you can live a good life. And I opened up a channel in the Discord, so that you guys can write comments and questions about the show, so you can look at this list. I'm going to take a screenshot of this pyramid and put it in the Discord, and then you guys can look at it and say, I want a show specifically on, Wednesday, can you do a show about this? Or Saturday, can you do a show about this? So I think 1 hour a day is not very hard to sit and talk about happiness and give yourself that space. Although today's show is going to be a little bit different just because I need to give you guys an introduction and have this be available so that at any portion in the show it'll just say introduction for people. So the next portion of the pyramid, and the very top of the pyramid, and the thing that we're trying to achieve is the self-actualization, the desire to become the most that one can be. So after all of these things are met, after you are after you have safety and security, after you are having food and shelter and clothing yourself, and after you're able to be a part of a community and have intimate relationships and friendships, and after you are able to gain respect from the people in your life and be a person that is looked at both by others and by yourself with esteem, because the way that you look at yourself is equally as important as other people look at you. So in the way in which we judge our existence, so building both of those simultaneously seems really important, and then will lead you to be self-actualized. Could not get that off. So one comment that I heard this week that was really important, that I thought would be a really great place to start our podcast journey and our show about happiness, is the notion that people that matter don't judge, and people that judge don't matter. So on your journey to happiness and on your growth goals and becoming a more fulfilled person, things will be uncomfortable, things will feel strange and weird, you will be different and be challenged, and like I said when I started this podcast, having a life that is 100% happy leads to no growth or change, and that's not what I'm trying to help you guys with or teach you guys. I'm not trying to help you get to happy, because there's a really common idiom in philosophy that chasing a thing makes a thing almost impossible to achieve. So when you're chasing wealth, you can never become wealthy because there's always the next step to wealthy. When you're chasing beauty, you never actually then like how you look. When you're chasing happiness, you never get to a place of happy because there's always something else. So I'm not 100% pushing for you to be happy. I'm pushing for you to be able to deal with life's hardships with the best toolkit possible, and I'm pushing for you to grow portions of your happiness so that when life is hard, there's a lot more that you got going on, more for you to focus on, the good than the bad. And I think that will lead to a more well-rounded, fulfilled community overall and general existence for you. So a few weeks ago, I was watching a show on YouTube by the channel Yes Theory, and they are traditionally a channel that encourages people to step outside of their comfort zone, do things that are uncomfortable, and encourage you to grow. In that, I in that, they came out with an episode of their channel that was not their traditional subject material. So their traditional subject material is traveling, is adventures, is doing things out of the ordinary to help their audience see and experience through them and encourage their audience to grow in that way. But the episode that I have watched was about meditation, and it was 1,000 days of meditation. And very much like the message that I'm trying to give you now about 100% complete total happiness is not possible, nor ideal. In that episode about meditation that Yes Theory did, they talked about having bad emotions and bad feelings, and that the goal of meditation is not to not have bad feelings. The goal of meditation is not to be 100% without negativity. The goal of meditation is to have the negativity and be able to deal with it, sit with it, and have it not impact your behavior. So, much like this, we're not going to be trying to get rid of all of the unhappinesses that life has or comes with, because obviously that's almost near impossible. And I don't know really how much growing comes from that. So this first show is a little bit different. We aren't doing the full half hour about anecdotal and half hour about educational and then half hour about talking with you guys, because I just wanted to get in here and start talking to you. So the very first thing that I did not bring in here with me, but the very first thing that I wanted to start to do with you guys that I thought was going to be really important and something that I started doing every day is 10 minutes of mindfulness meditation. It is proven that meditating every day for 20 years, people had autopsies done of people who meditated and people who didn't meditate. And the people who meditated had longer protein synapses in their brain and more ability to have quicker cognitive functioning, or more adapt cognitive functioning. And so meditation has come up over and over again throughout my life, but really recently, because of the pandemic happening, I've seen so many things about patience and about wholeness and about happiness, and how meditation can lead to both physical and psychological benefits. And I think that in the developing hobbies that help you, this hits home in the hobby of mindset and knowledge, because if you don't know some stuff about meditation, hopefully you can do research about it, or I will do research about it, and but in the doing meditation itself, you're going to be growing your mindset. And when I was looking online, it was really funny because a lot of the things that they said, like have 5 hobbies, they said hobbies take money. And meditating doesn't cost anything. If you have internet access or ability to access the internet, you can find YouTube videos. I search in the search bar 10 minutes of mindfulness meditation, and I look for the videos that are just above 10 minutes long, and it's a free and easy way to improve your life almost immediately. So for me, the journey of meditation so far has been hard, wrought with stress and anxiety, but every time I meditate, I feel better. So I have been doing it now for 26 days, every day for 10 minutes, and I dread that 10 minutes. I push it back. I tell myself I'm going to do it every morning as soon as I wake up. And currently we are sitting at 4:40 in the afternoon, and I have still not done my meditation for today. So I push it back, and I have had a starting journey of meditation that has been very hard. Through the internet and the ability to hear other people share their story about meditation, I feel less alone, because it seems for almost everyone who takes it seriously that it is a journey. It is not easy immediately, and it's sometimes hard to feel like you know what you got going on. So every day I tell myself I want to do it, and I know how good it is, and I tell myself that the day before I felt good, and I still push it back, but I end up getting that 10 minutes in, even if it's at 11:50. I sit down and I actually do it because I want to see how much it can help, and I've given myself a 6 months goal of doing it every day. So I think that during this journey of 12 weeks of podcasts, we can get in that 10 minutes of meditation every day. So I will be doing it hopefully before 4 p.m. But if I come on and I haven't done it, then I will jump into doing meditation in the Discord right afterward, or listening to it, or sending you guys which one I'm going to listen to that day, so that we can do it together if you haven't done it as well. Because I think that having accountability, or people to help you, or people to encourage you, gives you a little bit of an extra oomph. And in that sense of meditation, because it's 10 minutes a day, I recently received a book from a friend who suggested a gratitude journal. And I have, on top of happiness, on top of meditation, on top of everything else, I think I'm in that part of the internet, honestly. I have started to learn about gratitude and gratefulness, and writing down gratefulness, and acknowledging gratefulness, and talking about being grateful, and how much that impacts your overall mindset of your outlook on life generally, your outlook on your existence, and the way that you empathize with other people and assess humanity. So gratefulness, being grateful, and talking about the things that you appreciate, and acknowledging those things every day that you appreciate and can really honestly say that your existence benefits from, it does something for you. I think it boosts your endorphins, and it gets your juices going inside your brain. So 5 minutes of gratefulness every day, writing in a journal. I'm gonna go grab the journal so that I can show you guys exactly what it looks like, because I think that if you can't just bust out a pen and paper, if that's not necessarily easy for you, if you don't want to find any templates online consistently, like if looking for things over and over again is not necessarily your desired, if you just want to jump into it, this one is the 5-minute gratitude journal, and it's a journal for 5 minutes of greater joy and well-being in just 5 minutes a day. So I'm going to be starting this today. So I put a thing on Instagram, a story on Instagram with a swipe up ability to get this book, but it has everyday different type of things that you can write in. So now and then it's good to pause in our pursuit of happiness and just be happy. And this one says, one reason my life is already great, someone whose presence makes my life sweeter, something I get to do today that I've always wanted to do, one beautiful reason to be happy right now. So different sentence starters And you can fill in the dates. So if you miss a day, or you I don't know, maybe you want to do 2 on one day. Maybe you need an extra check-in. Maybe the morning was cool and you did it when you woke up, and that afternoon is rough. And you're like, I need it. And it says, what I appreciate most about this moment. You might be like, that there's ice in my iced coffee because I'm gonna lose every ounce of my marbles. I don't know. So this, I felt, was really great if you need help with it. If you're a starter like me, I've never done a gratitude journal. I've never really taken 5 minutes a day to write anything down, but I think that this would be really helpful. So I'm going to do mine every day, and if you guys want me to write down ones in the Discord, or write down a specific one, or start the show that day with the topic or one of these questions, like, we can do what I love most about my community. So I can start the show every day with, like, let's jump into our thing that we want to be grateful for, and then do it on the spot together, and you can write it down or think about it. Because although this costs $10, I think that it's a great investment for growing my mind. And if you're paying for your internet subscription and you want to come to a community discussion about one of these in the Discord, you don't have to pay for that discussion. So then you can learn about your gratitude every day, and grow your gratitude. And I think that the ability to practice it daily, not getting hard on yourself if you don't think it's something you can maintain forever, but really just trying to jump into it and give a good maximum effort so that it feels like you really gave yourself a chance. So on top of meditation for 10 minutes, gratitude for 5 minutes, that's 15 minutes a day. And then you have this podcast right here for an hour, and an hour and a half if you'd like to stay for the discussion portion after. When I train jiu-jitsu, you go for the class for 1 hour, and then they tell you can stay for sparring after. So it's kind of similar to this, but you can get 1 hour of material, 10 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of gratitude. You've given yourself like an hour and a half a day of putting tools into your toolkit that you have to work on, but giving yourself immediate things that impact your happiness all in one moment. Because meditation will immediately help with your general outlook on life and ability to deal with stress management, your ability to be patient, and then the gratitude will help you immediately to like be able to look at your life in a more positive light. And here's the thing about happiness. I've struggled with my happiness for a long time. I think that going through trauma early in life makes things harder for people to really find themselves at peace when they're no longer in that trauma and they have a better life. And my inability to find happiness has detrimentally impacted my relationships throughout my adulthood, and probably harmed some people along the way that didn't deserve to be treated in a certain way because I was unhappy and I wasn't dealing with it. I think that it's a thing that if you do not specifically work on, it's much like your abs. It's the hardest thing to get and probably the hardest thing to go away, because if you actually genuinely work on your happiness for a specific period of time and really get that solid core, then it's really hard for it to go away. But if you don't attend to it, if you don't really give it any attention, if you let your happiness run awry and be contingent upon things that aren't actually embedded in your core. If your happiness can change on a whim, uh, then I don't think that you've really given yourself the amount of space to work on it in a way that is gonna be fulfilling for the rest of your life. I oftentimes talk to the community about the concept of happy and the concept of fun, and how a lot of the times we try to fill our life with fun if we're not genuinely happy. If we don't wake up every day and say that this is content, then we try to find things that are fun. We try to go to the club, drink alcohol, party, vacation, go shopping, do things that are looked at as fun versus really put things into our toolkit to work on our happiness. So I have not worked on my happiness in, I'd probably say, a decade. I don't know if I can genuinely say that I've ever worked on it wholeheartedly 100%. Like, I should give myself the ability to. And the thing is, every year that I get older, when I haven't dieted or done meditation or really worked on things to my core that I know are planting seeds, that I needed to plant those seeds before to have the trees grow in that day that I'm assessing it, I always wish that I had planted more seeds. So if you have not gone on a happiness journey or really given yourself the space, if you've just woken up and said that you are happy, or that your happiness is contingent upon how the day goes or how people treat you or the experiences in which you accumulate, maybe this can be fruitful for you as well. So the recordings will go up on Anchor.fm so that people can listen to it in the car or listen to it in a podcast setting. But the shows will be recorded and then go up on YouTube for you, so that I can put the links to anything that I've talked about. I can put the links to the books or anything so that you guys can follow along and get acclimated. So this is my very first podcast with you guys. I'd like to open it up so that you guys can ask questions or try to see where you guys are at with your mindset about this this type of podcast, or how this might help you in some type of way. I'll go ahead and put up the hierarchy again so that you guys can see what we're going to be talking about every day. So there you go. Okay, so I'll go in the Discord voice channel and see if anyone wants to ask any questions or anything, and I'll so I can see if anyone goes in there, just so that we can talk if anyone has any questions. I'm going to go through the chat really quick and see if anyone has commented or questioned or anything. I really appreciate everyone for coming and being here for the first one. Although this stream has a little bit of information, it's not as dense and heavy with the education as some of the other podcasts are going to be. So I appreciate you guys for coming, honestly. Welcome everybody, and I appreciate you guys for being here. I see a comment in the chat that says happiness starts with self-love, and although that is true, sometimes happiness starts with eating, because if you can't eat or you cannot sleep or don't have a place to live, I don't know if self-love is going to happen for you. And you, at this period in your portion of life or time, may not be unstably housed, or you may not be having a food scarcity or inability to find sexual partners. But you may know other people right now who are going through that. You may know somebody in the future who's going through that. You may yourself go through one of these physiological things where you specifically need help with that. So I would like to at least cover those and not jump straight into the self-love and be all that you can be and be your best self without giving people a real acknowledgement of, if this is going unmet, if you're eating trash food and you don't have access to eating healthy or knowing what eating healthy is, if you feel tired and gross every day, then there's not really an ability to develop your intimate relationship. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to hit on every subject so that we can talk about general happiness, a generally fulfilled life, versus picking one specific topic of like, happiness is self-love, like, for some people. So and I think that it'll give people, even if it's not something that you're going through, it'll still give you interesting information. It'll still give you different anecdotal stories of places that I was on the internet, or things that I found, or things that other people are going through. So hopefully. He said, I feel like I'm in a health class. I did list the podcast under education and how to. There's like lifestyle and people, I don't know what other health, other categories that you can go in, but I decided to go into the how-to category because I think that this channel will be best served as a how to find happiness, how to grow your income, how to end housing instability. I don't know, like how to, all of these things of how to get to happiness, because I think that fits much more than lifestyle. Because we're not doing a lifestyle of happiness, we're doing a how-to of happiness. Okay. It said, in my country, some people would put love and belonging over safety needs. So the needs on this pyramid, the first two on the bottom, safety and physiological needs, are known as deficit needs. So things that people are going without. So those two are in the same category. So you definitely need to have your safety needs met, and those things go together. And then the higher ones, the love and belonging, self-esteem, and actualization, are in a category with each other. I appreciate you for subscribing. Thank you so much. I encourage everyone to follow the podcast channel. If you don't have Anchor, you can download the Anchor app and get access to this podcast. And if you want to follow or subscribe on YouTube or here, join the Discord. I appreciate the engagement and people coming. I know this is like the very first one, and we need to get in our groove of doing things, but I generally definitely appreciate you guys for coming. Meditate before you medicate. I like that. That's really great. Yeah. Meditation hopefully helps with a lot of physiological benefits for you as a human being that has to traverse the landscape of life, meditation hopefully helps you center yourself a lot more and not take medication. Medication is really expensive, and meditation is 10 minutes a day of putting an investment in yourself. And I know 10 minutes is really hard, but I think that meditation can help everyone from all walks of life, all genders and makeups of human families and economic status. It can impact everyone in a positive way. So that's one of the very few things that's like meditation could probably help almost everybody. Yeah, I'm so glad that you guys are interested in this intro into happiness. I really want I really want people to be able to invest in themselves and to find space for you to find value in yourself, to require other people to have value in you, to help other people bring out their value and see their own value. I think that when we're happy ourselves, we look at life differently. We help our community and those around us look at our life differently, and genuinely get to a place of being fulfilled at the end of our life by being fulfilled throughout our life. I've worked for many years in the social work field of generativity, of older adult and aging, healthy aging in communities, and people remaining in their homes throughout their life, so that people could build or maintain a sense of happiness in their aging out. And the thing is, I think that fulfillment at the end of your life is much easier to get if you've been fulfilled throughout your life and if you've been genuinely working on that. So human existence is beautiful, and it is a gift that we are given, that I hope everybody is doing their most with it, because the preciousness of your existence and the ability for you to impact people around you in a positive way through your experiences and your ability to remain positive in life, I think is much more needed and a really great thing. And I'd rather be surrounded by happy people, fulfilled people, people who are encouraging others to be their best self, than any other type of people. So if you're trying to be fulfilled, I'm trying to be fulfilled. So come every day at 4 p.m. I've been in the Discord for about 10 minutes and no one has come in. So I've recorded this episode, episode 1, the introduction to happiness. I will be putting this recording up on YouTube for you. I will be putting a recording on anchor.fm, and it will be a playback here on Twitch. So I will be jumping into YouTube streams tomorrow, hopefully. I will have it be enabled so that we can stream on there consistently, and this will be the upload that goes on that channel. So thank you everybody for coming for the very first day of me leaving Discord. If you guys don't have anything for me, I don't have anything for you. I hope that the maximum recording. Yay. Okay, so it said the maximum recording is 60 minutes. So this was exactly 60 minutes, and I think that's pretty great. So if you don't need anything else from me, I don't need anything else from y'all, and I will see you in the Discord. And I will see you tomorrow on Twitch.
You have to be your biggest fan. And